Okay, so I'll be going over 11.15, and I'm going to be assuming that you've already done 11.4. 11.4 is much easier than 11.15. 11.4, you just have to implement functions from the string class, and then just write them underneath these header files, and it shouldn't really take too long. So for 11.15, it's telling us to do two new constructors and to implement all these other functions. Okay, so let's start with the two constructors. So the first constructor is telling us that we want to make a new myString that's this size and contains this character. So for integer equals 0, I is less than size, I plus plus. So our value, our little array, is going to equal that char, right? And now our size is going to change. Our size is going to be the size that was given to us underneath this parameter. So this size is going to equal the new size. And that's just the first portion of it. Okay, so this next portion is pretty similar to the first one. So what we're going to have is we're going to pass in an array of chars and the size. So actually we can just copy paste this sort of from our previous constructor. So instead of a specific char, we're going to make it our chars I, right? So this is our second constructor, and now let's move on to the functions, and I have those down here. Okay, so for the next one is append, where we're adding the contents of this myString into this myString, this one, the one that we're calling the function from. Okay, so let's think about it for a second. If I want to add the contents of this array, for example, into this array, I want a new array size is going to be the size of this array plus this one, right? And that can be figured out pretty easily. So now we're saying that this one is the original one. Let's just say that this is the original myString. So for integer I equals 0, no, I equals size being the size of that myString, s dot length plus the size I plus plus. So then our new value at I is going to equal s dot at the new size, so the bigger size minus the I that it's at, right? And so here we're going to pass in the I minus size, because the I minus size is going to give us the contents from 0 to whatever the size of this myString is, right? So that's going to give us, for example, it's going to give us D, A, S, and all of these up here. Because if you if you think about it, say size is the size of this. Let's just say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the size of this is 15 minus its size, obviously. So it's going to be 0 of this. So 0, and then I is going to be increasing by 1. So it's going to be adding D, then A, then S, then J, then F. So it's going to look all jumbled up together. And you'll see that soon. And since this is returning a myString, we just return our value. Okay, so that's how you append this myString to this myString. And actually, we have to change the size of our value now, because since this size has been already manipulated, we have to change the overall stature of its size. So the size is just going to be this right here, what we passed in, because it's going to be, so it's because it's just going to be the size of this plus the already existing size of this. So this is going to be the new size. Okay. That's how you append the myString to this myString. Okay, so this next one appends from the index of this, from the myString, this myString as at index, this index, up to this n. So it's going to be very similar to the first one that we did. Actually, we can copy paste it and save us some work. Okay, so instead of the entire length of this, we're going to be adding just n, because n references how long, how many characters are going to be incorporated into this new append, starting from this index. And now, instead of starting from the 0, we're going to be starting at whatever index this is. So we're going to pass in index here, because this is going to be s dot at, let's say for example 4. This is going to give us 0. 0 plus 4 is going to give us this. And with the I increasing, 4 plus 1 is going to be 5. So 4, 5, 6 up to this n. Okay. So s dot length plus size. This is normal size. This is just going to be n. Okay. Actually, it's not going to be s dot length. This is going to be n plus size for this running time plus the already existing size. Right. That's how you do this append. Okay, this next append adds this char for this long. Okay, so it's going to be much more similar. Oops. So it's going to be much more similar to this one right here. So we can copy paste this actually. So for integer, the length of this n plus the already existing size. So instead of assigning that to a new whatever as whatever myString is, we're just going to be assigning it to this char that's passed by, and the size is going to be new. It's going to be whatever this n is plus the already existing size, and then we'll be returning the value. And that's how you do this append. So for this assign, we're assigning whatever is in this char to this myString. So to assign it, we first have to get rid of what is in this string. So what we have to do is set our size equal to 0. And since this is a C string and I want to see where our null terminator is going to be, I want to declare my I outside of the for loop. So I declare my I outside, and then I'm going to function here. So while my I is then my char's index of I, and while this index is not the null terminator, I want to increase my I. I want to assign my values, my value of I to my char. That char's at I. And my size is now going to equal the I, because if you run this through, our size is going to be 1. It's going to be the I plus 1. So that's going to be the size of this char string. And then I just want to return my value, because this is a myString object return. Okay, so this next assign is going to be again super similar to the one we did before. We're assigning chars in this myString starting from this index up to this n. So I'm going to take this assign. Okay, so again, when you assign something, you want to clear what's in it. So I'm going to say my size is equal to 0. And actually this I can put back into my for loop, because since this isn't a C string, I can easily manipulate this. So while my I is equal to 0 and my size index is going to be my n minus index, okay? Because up to that point, minus index is going to be however many. Actually, it's just going to be my n, because that's going to be however many I'm going to be increasing by, right? Yeah. So then my value I is going to be not charged. It's going to be s dot at. Remember, this is a C string. We can use functions. So at my index minus my index, then be my index plus my I. Yeah, my index plus my I, because index is a stagnant number, and as I keep going with my I, let's say my index is 4, my whole index is now going to be 5, 6, 7 up to this n, however many n is, right? So that's how you think about it that way. And then size is just going to be n, because if I'm going for this long, this is going to be my new size, because going from, let's look at my notepad, going from, let's say, J up to L, that's going to be 4. So I'm going to be passing in here 4, so my new size is going to be just that, making my my string just this, which is 4. So I'll be assigning this to whatever my string is, and I'll be returning this value. Okay, that's how you do that assign. Okay, the next assign is the myString s, passes in myString s and the integer n being however many starting from 0 of that myString I include. So let's say, let's for example take this. So starting from 0 up to, let's say, 5, so it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll be including these. So this would be my new. So let's try it out. Let's see how. And this is really similar to all the myStrings, all the ones that have the same title are going to be extremely similar. So you can just copy and paste on from the previous one and put it here, and let's go over it. So since this is just starting from, it's 0, I equals 0, we don't have to include any index. It's just going to be our I, right? That's all that really matters. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much the only change you'll have to do to this one for it to work. And let's say do this assign. Next assign is even easier, I believe. So we can just take this and copy and paste it here. So for the length of this n, I want my new myString to be just this char. So in here, instead of assigning it to a myString, I'm just going to assign it to my ch. So my new size is going to be n, where I is less than whatever my new size is. That's going to be my new value of my myString. Okay, so the next one is the substring, and substring is a little bit harder to understand. So I want to return the strings, the chars starting from this index up to this. So the overall size of it is going to be my n minus my index. And since this is just an array of chars, you have to declare this dynamically as an array of chars. And the way you do that is like this. So the char pointer, I'm going to call it sub, equals new char with the size now being n minus the index. Alright? And since this is a C string, I'm going to clear my I outside. So for integer I is less than my n minus my index, the size of the array, of the new substring, plus plus, my sub is going to equal my value dot at, I'm going to say at my n minus index, which is going to, at my index, pardon me. Yeah, pardon me, it's going to be from my index plus my I, my increasing increment. Oh, this is sub at I, because my I is 0. Okay. So my new size is going to be, the size for this Actually, I need to get, since this is a C string, the last value of it is going to be the null terminator. So since I is the last value at it, because I'm running through the for loop and my I is still existent, I can do my null terminator. Yeah. And then I'll be returning sub. And this null terminator is very important that you don't forget, because or else you'll be going out of bounds and you could possibly print out a completely arbitrary value. So let's say you do this substring. Okay, so this next substring is going to be a little bit easier to deal with, since this substring means that it's going to be printing out starting from 0 up to this index. Okay, so the way we do that is, I'm just going to copy and paste this here. And instead of n being the terminating size, it's going to be size. That's going to be the new size of this, and that's what I'm going to be returning here. And that's the only change you have to do in this one for this substring, and that's pretty much how you do this substring. And let me just remind you that this value right here, it can be written as this because you can also think about this as a C string, but it could also be just the same as an array. Same context. I'm actually gonna replace it for consistency. Yeah. So don't forget that you could also include this. And for this last one, the erase, I went ahead and did it, but I'll walk you guys through it because this one was a little bit difficult to think about. So when you erase something, this is how the function is supposed to look like. So let's say that my string 8 is called this is an example sentence. And if I erase from index 10 up to 8 values, so that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So starting from here, going up to 8 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'll be erasing all of this. This is what I'm going to be erasing. So my end, in the end, my sentence is going to look like this. So the way I think about it is that there's the pre string, there's a pre-string, this is an, and a post-string sentence. So the way I thought about it was that if I can find this substring and this substring, I can add or append this substring to this string, and it would give me this string. So that's my thought process through here. So what I did is I first created a C string right here, index with the size of index plus 1, so that the size can still include that null terminator. And I ran it through and I equated each value to it up to this point. So from 0 to 10, so that would be I included this is an into sub. That would be my first string, and I would call this as a my string str. And don't forget this null terminator, because when you're passing in here, it's just the C string or a chars or an array of chars. And I did the same thing for post, but my size is a little bit different. My size was the overall size of this minus the index plus however many indexes it wants me to go beyond. So I did size minus n plus index, and that would give me the size of this post array of chars. And I ran this for loop, and fortunately it worked for this index plus n and k equals 0. And why I did it from I and k is so that my values in my post don't get intertwined, and it was much easier for me to see that this I obviously worked efficiently. Okay, and since I initialized my I up here, I can declare it again here, and I would still be able to use my null terminator for post here. So this post would contain, in this sense, sentence with the period. And then finally, I just added my first string, my first str, to my second string, my post, my str2. That's what I called it. And that's how I pretty much did this one. And then you can just see that here I added them all into this value so that I can make sure that the new size would be this str.length, and this value would just be that str. And I would make sure that all the values starting from I equals 0 would equal this new string. This new string being my first string, the this is and my second string, sentence. And then you would just turn the value. I made this little tester program so I can test every function. So let's run it. This is project 15. Okay. So let's go through it. So I created a my string of 10 A chars right there. And then I printed it out, and then I appended my second string being my string of 10 B's. So I pretty much just added this and I appended it and I printed that out. The second string 3 being from 4 C chars. So I'm starting from index 1. I'm going to be appending from index 1 up to index 2. So I'll be including 2 C's. That's what happened right here. And then my next one, I append 3D. So 3Ds starting from the end of my last string, so I'll be adding 3Ds. And yeah, that is exactly what happened here. So I'm gonna, and then this next one, str.assign, this is a new string. So everything that I did prior to that, my A, B, C, and D's, are now gonna be this is a new string. And this is right here, this is a new string. And now I printed that out, and then my string, for example, I'm going to be assigning from index 2 to 5 from my string 4, which is just ample. So example from 0, 1, 2, all the way to 5. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ample. Works. And then here, I made a new my string 5. I left the code and I assigned string 5 up to index 9, which is just I love 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with the space. I love 2. Yep. And then this next one was assign 7 D's to it, which is what I did here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And then this one is a substring of string.s from my string, which is mine 7 D's now, from 1 to 3. So that should give me just 2 D's. And then substring from 4 all the way till the end, which should give me 7 minus 4, which should give us 3 D's, which is right here. And then our erase. So I made a new string 8, called this is an example sentence. Then I erased from index 10 to 8, which should give us this is an sentence, this example that I went over previously. And it does give us that, see? So we know that our code works. And that's how you do problem number 15.